There's no one else who loves me like you used to. Sometimes we're not ourselves. There's no one I can turn to. And I know all the feelings that we shared are in the past. And I know your relationships are never meant to last. And I'll take some time, but I'll be alright. We're moving on. We're moving on. I know times are tough, but I've had enough. We're moving on. We're moving on. We're moving on.
Deepika Sudeep, and now we commence the program. It's my pleasure to invite the following dignitaries onto the dais. Mrs. Jya Chandrahasan, Mr. Raghuchandran Nair, Mr. G. Vijayaraghavan, Mr. Sozo Talameshu, and Dr. Shashi Tharoor. We commence today's program with a moment of silent prayer and thanksgiving to God. Kindly rise for the same. Kindly be seated. Thank you. I now call upon Mrs. Jya Chandrahasan to offer a note of welcome.
Respected Chairperson, Princess Gauri Parvati Bai, our universally adored Member of Parliament, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, India's pride, Mr. Chris Gopalakrishnan, co-founder of Infosys and chairman of Axelar Ventures, Mr. G. Vijayaraghavan, the former CEO of Technopark and pioneer of Kerala's IT surge, Mr. S. Raghuchandran Nair, President, Trivandrum Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Soso Telimashu, European Regional Head, Massey Study Abroad, and all august invitees who are here physically and on the virtual platforms, and my dear colleagues, a warm welcome to this evening's function. After almost 2 years of continued struggles and uncertainties, all of us are hopefully looking at a post-COVID world with its new equilibrium. This has an inherent element of disruption in almost all aspects of human lives. Nature and climate are no exceptions. Oxford Martin School, in their research paper on future skill sets published on September 28, 2017, warns us that 70% of the skill set needs of 2030 were not the ones which were in existence then. COVID would have further skewed this. Knowledge is of absolute importance more than ever. Methods of sharing and acquisition of knowledge will undergo sea change. It was this realization that prompted us to launch 2 new projects, seamless innovative technologies, whose first solution, Resorcio, is being launched today, and EduRite, our global education wing. While the former facilitates sharing and gaining knowledge in various forms, EduRite gives to the youth of Kerala a very reliable option in global education and international career prospects. We have assembled here for the inauguration of Resorcio. We are also happy to inform you that Crandall University from Canada is honoring us with a scroll of recognition as their respected representative. Now, with my official duty of welcoming all of you. Dr. Shashi Tharoor, I am not using the cliche, he needs no introduction, because he does not need them. As a parliament member, he is our pride. A very rare example of a member of parliament being more popular than the constituency. A very caring friend whose friendship we all treasure. No words beyond this. Welcome to our midst, sir. We also have our chairperson, Her Highness Princess Gauri Parvati Bai, our inspiration, whose patronage we look upon with great reverence. Hearty welcome, Princess. Mr. Chris Gopalakrishnan, while he is the nation's pride, to very many of us, he is a friend and guide. To this project, he was a caring mentor. Welcome, sir, to this evening's program. Kerala was introduced to information technology in the early 90s by none other than Mr. G. Vijayaraghavan, and the rest is history. No wonder he has the title of the architect of IT revolution in Kerala. Thank you, sir, for your presence. Mr. S. Raghuchandran Nair is a 24/7 friend for very many and a courageous crusader for the Trivandrum city in its aspirations for development. Welcome, sir. Next person to be welcomed is Mr. Sosos Telimashu, a very passionate agriculture technologist, well recognized in Europe and loves India unconditionally. We are fortunate to have him heading operations in Europe of Massey Study Abroad, of which we have the directors Rahul, Krati, and Dispina here with us. A very hearty welcome to them. We have an array of dignitaries and distinguished friends who have blessed us this evening with their graceful presence. A very warm welcome to all of you who are with us here in our moments of accomplishment and joy. Though Princess had inconveniences to be with us, she was generous enough to grace us with her virtual presence, and I request her to be connected.
Namaskaram. It is my pleasure to say a few words on the occasion of the launching of Kerala Travels' new initiative, Resorcio. The bright young things in our outfit, they have looked for various new avenues during the time of COVID and the disparate scene in the field of travel. So they came up with something which is a technological innovation which passes completely over my head. I belong to a time when we wrote things down by hand, when we had no computers or calculators to help us. So like something out of the ark, I am telling you about something which I know nothing about, whether it is technology, nor about another astonishing factor, the vocabulary of Dr. Shashi Tharoor. All these things are totally going over my head, but I hope you will enjoy both and you will find great use from this newly launched application. I told my grandchildren about it and they are quite excited because they seem to understand what grandmother is trying to work out. I hope this new venture will take off very smoothly and have a wonderful run ahead. I would like to compliment all those who have put in a lot of hard work in getting this launched, and I would like to particularly convey my good wishes and all my blessings to Geetika and her team. I look forward to hearing wonderful reports about how we are doing, and maybe one day, who knows, even I might become a little tech savvy as a result of interacting with all of you. God bless you and have a pleasant evening.
Thank you, Princess, for your words of encouragement and blessings. Now we have Mr. Chris Gopalakrishnan joining us from Bangalore.
Distinguished guests, business leaders, faculty and students, media friends, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations on the official launch of Resorcio, and congratulations to the founding team and friends of Resorcio. I'm glad that I'm able to participate in this function. Resorcio is a startup from Thiruvananthapuram, my hometown. Resorcio is a startup co-founded by Geetika Sudeep, daughter of my good childhood friend Chandrahasan. Resorcio is a startup that creates a digital bazaar for all kinds of content for the 21st century knowledge society. Resorcio is a startup that creates a global platform to source several types of content for students, youth, and professionals. Resorcio is a global platform for the creator community to market their content to global consumers. Finally, Resorcio is an ambitious Indian startup that wants to be an important player in the creator economy. Every day, we are learning about new emerging technologies. These technologies are disrupting industries, making new business models possible, and new leadership to emerge. If you have imagination, creativity, and are willing to work hard, there are lots of opportunities to create interesting businesses. Resorcio is a result of leveraging emerging technologies, taking advantage of growing demand for content in English as well as vernacular languages, and using gamification principles to make the application interesting to users and content creators. There's no one way to create a startup. Before Uber, no one had thought of disrupting a traditional industry as the taxi services industry. Before Airbnb, no one had thought of disrupting the hospitality industry with an asset-light model. Before Flipkart, no one had thought of cash on delivery in e-commerce in India. I can go on, but you get the drift. There's always an opportunity to reimagine an existing business and change the status quo in an industry segment or even create a new industry category. Resorcio is one such attempt to create a new category in content marketplace. The Resorcio team has spent time seeding the platform with curated, professionally created content. It has put in place a filtering system such that only appropriate content is added to the platform. The platform has monetization engine built in. Even though this is the official launch, the team has worked hard to build lots of these features, curate enough content such that users are going to find something worthwhile to use, and the platform has enough features to interest investors to fund the startup. This pandemic has accelerated the adoption of digital technologies. Maybe by necessity, we have all embraced digital technologies in our day-to-day life. This means that the addressable market is large, including in smaller towns, villages, and rural areas. Wherever there are students and professionals, Resorcio will find use. Over the last few years, the number of entrepreneurs making a living by creating content and selling these online has increased. Be it a presentation, an essay, a podcast, a video tutorial, people have become celebrity content creators and entrepreneurs running small businesses. I've been interacting with Geetika, Robbins, and the team over the last few months as the platform is being built. I could see the vision being realized piece of code by piece and new features added to the product. The team has tested the product with limited number of users and now believes the platform is ready for wider use. I hope the users will find the product and content useful. The team is still fine-tuning the product based on feedback. Content is being added to the platform as more users get onto the platform. And as users and content increases, the product evolves. I wish the team all success and hope to be part of many more milestones in the days to come. Thanks for the opportunity to share my thoughts during this launch. All the very best.
Thank you very much, Chris, sir. Our online chief guest for this event. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that is very much keeping in sync with what Resorcio is all about. Resorcio is very much a coronial, is what they term something that was birthed during the corona years. So we are an online platform, and the reason for our existence is basically the huge shift to online learning that has happened over the years and precipitated by the corona crisis. So, and our team also has been what we call a hybrid team, working from multiple locations, connecting virtually and occasionally in person to make this happen. So, as Charles Dickens said in Hard Times, in The Tale of Two Cities rather, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. I mean, if he hadn't coined it already, probably our team would have, during the last year, because we know why it was a trying time. But it was also the best of times because it pushed us out of our comfort areas. It pushed us to think differently, to explore new opportunities, and really get out of that box that everyone keeps talking about. So in the midst of all this churn was birthed Resorcio. As we know, India is the second biggest e-learning market after the US, and it is growing by leaps and bounds. But it's also an extremely competitive and very crowded space. So what my co-founder Robbins and I, what we attempted to do was to find a niche that's somewhere between edtech and content aggregation. A niche where there isn't, which has not been explored in great detail so far. A niche which my French alma mater, INSEAD, has a word for, the blue ocean. So that's where Resorcio was born. In short, Resorcio, as Chris sir had mentioned, he gave a very comprehensive overview. I don't know what I can add further to that, but I'll try. Resorcio is an online bazaar for resources, and resources of every kind. Now, this is meant for students, high school students and upwards. It is meant for young executives, for professionals, and actually for just about everyone else. I'll very briefly take you through the three pillars of Resorcio. The first one being content, obviously. We're all about resources, that's why we call Resorcio. So over the past few months, our team, along with a huge team of writers from all over the country, we created a whole lot of content under a lot of categories from A to Z, practically, in multiple formats. By formats, I mean PowerPoints, PDFs, everything readable and audible is what we looked at. And we also looked at multiple languages. Now here is the differentiator, the first of its kind that we're bringing to the market. We have started, and we will be launching today, with English as well as the 5 South Indian languages. Now I'm not getting into a whole lot of numbers tonight, but here's something I just want to mention. In India, the English-speaking population, the ones who consume English content, that's around 125 million. Now, all the South Indian languages put together, the 4 South Indian languages put together, is 265 million. That's double of the English market. And if you bring in the biggest markets, that is Hindi and Bengali, into the picture, that shoots up to 800 million. So now this is why we're looking at regional, because this is the boom area. And now my numbers are based on the 2011 census. So, you can imagine how much more the market has expanded since then. So now we have all this content that has been generated and ready to use. So that's, in a very small nutshell, what Resorcio is about. And also, regarding the monetization, we have various inbuilt frameworks for that, including the sharing of the content creator proceeds and on-site advertising as well as subscription packs for Lumen, etc., etc. So right now, where we stand today at the product launch is we are bootstrapped. We have come this far thanks to our generous family and friends. I should say very generous family and friends. And in fact, it's after I started working on the startup that I realized why angel investors are called angel investors. I mean, the term really makes a lot of sense. So has the potential to really become something of great use for all communities concerned, not just in English, but also at the regional levels across the country. And we also believe it is a model that can be replicated around the world in all language communities and cultures. Now, very quickly, there is a list of people that I would like to give thanks to, and a quick shout out. First of all, our mentor, Mr. Chris Gopalakrishnan, he has been our guiding light, and he gave you a very thorough overview of the product. The part he didn't mention is how patient he has been with us over the past months, because there was a lot of ignorance that he had to deal with, and he was so gracious about it. I cannot but thank him very deeply. Another mentor is Mr. N. Krishnan, who has, again, very patiently handheld the entire team through the entire startup process, basically putting one building block after another. And on behalf of my co-founder, Robbins, and myself, we just like to say thanks to the gamification team, the technical team, the marketing team, the finance and valuation team, the accounting team, and the content teams, almost 200 writers from around the country contributing English and regional languages. And of course, Kerala Travels for all the infrastructure and emotional support. And definitely the angel investors who are well and truly were angels. So at the end of the day, I think we're very, very grateful to God that we got an opportunity to create something in the middle of all this chaos that was happening, to create something innovative and to create value. We're very thankful of that. And we know that is not something to be taken for granted. Now, before I conclude, well, probably some of you know that I also moonlight as a filmmaker. So one of the cardinal rules of filmmaking is that, or rather screenwriting is that, if you have an opportunity to show your audience something, don't just keep telling them about it. So, just show rather than tell. So I think I'd like to very quickly show you a very short video about Resorcio. Could we have the AV, please?
Resorcio, an online bazaar where you can find, share and create resources. Looking for the perfect slide deck to ace a presentation? Need smart templates to get an edge at work? Log in to resorcio.com. On Resorcio, you can find content about nearly every topic under the sun. You can also create and upload content in your area of expertise. From PowerPoints and PDFs to templates and audio, you'll find multiple formats on Resorcio. We're also multilingual, so you have more options at your fingertips. Once you log in, you'll get a bag full of lumens, our virtual currency. With this, you can buy the resources of your choice and get started. Buy, sell, and share resources at Resorcio, the online bazaar. Start resourcing today. Resorcio. Find, share, create.
Well, all that remains now is to get the show on the road. And it is a great honor for me to call upon a luminary whose name I first encountered during my undergraduate studies on my English literature syllabus. Dr. Tharoor sir, there is a sense of coming full circle today with your kindly consenting to launch our first entrepreneurial venture. So there was a lot of debate among my team as to how exactly we should launch an online product because, everything gets, everything real gets, in the brick and mortar space gets inaugurated with the cutting of a ribbon or the lighting of a lamp, but this is, an online product. So then we hit upon the perfect solution. Sir, would you kindly launch Resorcio by tweeting us online, because that's, we believe, the perfect way to do it.
Right, well, here we are. Are we going to show this to everybody? Very much, as Chris Gopalakrishnan said in his remarks, living in an era of startups where all sorts of interesting new ventures are coming up. And as the Member of Parliament for Thiruvananthapuram, I'm particularly thrilled to see a Made in Trivandrum project, a product which in turn can help transform the lives of creators, of students, of business people. If I've understood properly, a true online bazaar is what we are putting forward here in the EdTech space. It's an exciting and challenging time. As Geetika said, the education space really moved online quite dramatically when COVID happened. And I think we saw both the promise and the limitations of it. The promise is precisely that at a time when you couldn't put children into a classroom for fear of contamination and of bringing infections around from home and back to home and so on, that you could still continue to impart instruction through the online method. The negative sides of it, however, remained a challenge for many of us in the public policy space. First of all is the digital divide. We live with this in Thiruvananthapuram all the time, where some people live in homes where their parents can afford to give them tablets or laptops or even at the very least smartphones with the mobile data pack paid for, and they can access their classes. And others in our society, sadly, are unable to do that, with the result that online resources can, in an unequal society, become a means of increasing the divide in our society. And that's been something troubling many of us. We've tried to address it. I myself conducted a Bridge the Divide, Digital Divide contest by inviting people to donate smartphones for some of the poorest children in schools. We matched those donations, and then when schools gave us names of students who didn't have this, we tried to provide them to the students. And other MPs and MLAs have done similar things throughout Kerala. But at the same time, the challenge is enormous. And I think none of us who read the story last year at the height of the COVID pandemic of this poor Dalit girl who used to come first in her class right up to class 10, and who suddenly found herself in a situation where classes were online. Her father, a daily wage worker, had lost his job because of COVID and the lockdown, so there was no income in the house. There was no money to buy food for the family, let alone to get a mobile phone or anything else. Many of us raised these concerns at the time, and the state government then put some of the online classes onto a free television channel called Victor's Channel. This poor young girl, her parents only had one TV set, was broken down. The unemployed father had no money to repair it, and this bright, rather brilliant student committed suicide. This story made it to the papers and shook the consciences of all of us. And I don't want to say it to cast a damper on what ought to be a celebratory occasion, but just to stress that we have to remember we're functioning in a society where there are important inequalities. And I'd like to see technology as a means of bridging those gaps, of actually overcoming inequalities rather than perpetuating them. And I'm hoping that Resorcio will be part of the answer and not part of this particular problem. A second kind of challenge we've seen is the enormous challenges associated with online classrooms, in that the teacher no longer is able to engage in meaningful eye-to-eye contact with the students. The students are unable to sustain attention for the period of time of a day's classroom, and often as a result, performance tends to flag, attention certainly does flag, and this has again become a serious issue that many parents have flagged. Not to mention, of course, the challenges parents have in trying to make up at home for what the kids are not getting at school. So all of these things have come up. Now, Resorcio promises to be much more than just an online education platform for school children. Just hearing about this, you've seen it's got far bigger ambitions and a far wider scope. But I mentioned what I mentioned merely in order to sound a cautionary note about the excitement we all tend to feel about online instruction, online education. It's great, it can be transformative, it can make things far more interesting for students, but it can also, as I say, underscore and worsen certain divides in our society that we really need to overcome. And I'd urge Geetika and her team, as we celebrate their achievement in coming up with this platform, to also think of ways in which, with their success, once they succeed and start doing very well, how they can make some of these resources available to people who at the moment will not be amongst the first to leap onto their platform. I think this is something which, in our society, all of us need to be doing very much more of. I want to end by once again congratulating Geetika and her team. They're young people. They have done something creative and original and in a crowded marketplace. They've won the approbation of someone like Chris Gopalakrishnan, who is not only an expert in his field, but the founder of one of the great unicorns of India, Infosys. And we have on stage the very man who established our Technopark in Thiruvananthapuram. So his blessing carries with it a great deal of weight. And the presence of the Trivandrum Chamber of Commerce as well, I think will suggest that the commercial potential and the business potential of the startup venture has been very much noticed by our community. So I want to congratulate Geetika and her team, to wish you all the very best. Take care of making this not just a successful beginning, but carrying on right through into a great and successful long-term endeavor. Good luck, all the best.
Thank you, sir, for leaving us with some points to ponder. And on my behalf and on behalf of the team, I'd like to assure you that we will be part of the solution to the digital divide. And our foray into regional languages is only but the first step to ensure that it is done. Thank you, sir. I'd now like to call upon Mr. G. Vijayaraghavan to kindly address.
Dr. Shashi Tharoor, Geetika, Mrs. Jaya Chandrahasan, Mr. Raghunandan Nair, Chris Rao, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Chandrahasan, for, I was just planning to come here and be with all of you all here, but he called up yesterday and sent a message saying, can you speak a few words? And I did one thing, that when he invited me, I said, please send me some information on the company. And he did that, okay? So, but the sad part was yesterday, he called again and I said, I haven't got it. And then I found out that the system had put it into a wrong folder, so I couldn't open that. But I did go through it. And very interesting in that, when we looked at about 5-10 years ago, we used to say information is power. And then there was a time when we said data is king. And now, actually, it is content is money. Okay? But I take very much what Dr. Tharoor mentioned. We should also make it accessible to a lot of people. And what I understand in my brief conversation with Geetika is that initially, they are giving a lot of the lumens free. They will have people use that. But I think the model that they have done, from what I have read, is you provide content and you get paid for that informally. And because of that, you get to view other content. So what really happens is that you write a poem, somebody likes the poem, 10 people, the people talk about it, and then you want to go and see some other thing in economics or medicine that you want, you get access to that. So that is what makes this different. And one of the things which I'm very happy about, just like Dr. Tharoor mentioned, I'm happy that there are 2 Trivandrumites, Geetika and Robbins, who are actually driving this. And I hope that what happens to this company, I don't want to say that it's exactly that way, but should happen what recently happened during COVID times, where something which was started a few years ago, was bought by one of the largest online platforms for over $600 million. And it had 2 people from Trivandrum who were part of the founders. Okay? I'm not saying that you should sell your company, but what I'm telling you is that you should build it up so that the value goes up. And the only way value will go up for the company, from what I see and what I've seen when I did have a peep at your website, is that I've seen there are about 10 different areas or 12 different areas that you have featured to start with. Very interesting, something on biology, technology, electronics, spiritual, accounting, geography, plant, biotechnology, all kinds of subjects picked up. And I hope that the content on that is good. So congratulations on launching something in just 11 months. Yet taking it to market in 11 months is not very easy. I hope to go through the site in more depth. And once again, congratulations to the team behind it. The gamification model is something which is going to probably make it different from the others. And I'm sure that this company will go places. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I'd now like to call upon Mr. Raghuchandran Nair to speak a few words.
Respected Princess, Gauri Parvati Bai, our dynamic MP from Trivandrum, Dr. Tharoor, and the other dignitaries on the dais, and also the stakeholders of Trivandrum. As the President of the Trivandrum Chamber of Commerce, we are really proud that an organization, a global platform is being set up in Trivandrum for monetizing and also for sharing the knowledge, which is, I believe, is one of the unique or probably the only one in India today. What I understand from Geetu is, this is really a proud moment for all of us. As those who are here, you need to know that Trivandrum is slowly turning into a happening place. Today, I had the opportunity to be with Mr. Yusuf Ali to see the Hyatt Hotel, which is being designed by architect Mahesh, which is going to be ready by March. Today he was informing me that by December, mid-December, 15th or 16th, the Lulu Mall will be opened. And a lot of activities, such activities are happening. The Adanis have taken over the airport. They are now marketing the airport to the airlines. We hope more connectivity is coming in. The Vizhinjam Harbour, which is now on the verge of getting kick-started and getting completed by another 2 years' time, which will accommodate the largest ship, mothership in the world, also will be accommodated there. Now, what I need to convey to you all is that over the years, Trivandrum never had a godfather. Whereas all other cities have some godfathers who are driving it, and we never had. And finally, when the Trivandrum Chamber of Commerce thought about it, we thought that investments have to come in if people need to get job. And investments will only come if somebody has to drive it. And like I was supported ably by our Vice President, Mr. Bhima Govindan, our Secretary, Mr. Abraham Thomas, Joji. Incidentally, today Mr. Yusuf Ali was very happy that Joji today signed in Bombay the West Side showroom in the Lulu Mall. And it is a proud moment for us because a Trivandrum company has come forward to sign a big showroom in the Lulu Mall. It's a great achievement. What we have done is, over the period of time, we decided that how do we take it forward? So we decided to form. We were supported ably by the Trivandrum Agenda Task Force, headed by Mr. B.K. Matthews, Mr. Chris Gopalakrishnan, Srikanth, and a lot of like Mahesh, and a lot of our people who are here, including Chandru. And through the Awake, we form an organization called Awake Trivandrum. And under the organization, we really brought all the stakeholders. And under that, we got it branded as Trandom and You. And under that, we are branding Trandom in a large way and trying to sell it. In the meantime, today, 2 days back, we got a call from the Tamil Nadu Chamber of Commerce that Mr. Udayanithi Stalin wants to meet us because we were pushing in for the Trandom Kanyakumari corridor. So most likely a meeting will be set up in Chennai to discuss about the Trandom Kanyakumari industrial corridor. So in short, what I'm trying to tell you all is that Trandom is becoming a happening place and very slow and steady. All of you are the godfathers, and we are led by none other than Dr. Tharoor, who is really pushing it hard, taking up all our issues in Delhi and trying to resolve any matters that is putting a stumbling block, and that is really showing results. When we got into the system and we started finding out what is the investments happening in Trandom, for the information of all of you here, we collated all the statistics and data. The central funding and the state funding and the PPP together, Trandom has got 31,302 crores of work happening in Trandom, of which 22,000 crores of work is happening in Dr. Tharoor's constituency. So we can definitely look forward that if 22,000 crores of work is going to get completed, I'm quite sure that in the coming years, Trandom will definitely find its place in the global map, and also it will be seen as a capital city, because all this while we call ourselves as a capital city, but very rarely it lives up to the capital city brand. So here, I like to give my congratulations to Geetu, because she has decided to set up a portal in Trandom, and congratulations to her, and thank you from all of us from the Chamber of Commerce that you took the decision to set up a unit here, which will probably in the coming years will give employment to about 1,500 people. Thank you, Geetu, and all the best to you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we move on to the EduRite part of tonight's program. From online learning, we move to global education. First off, we have a message from Mr. Chris Robb of the Crandall University.
Greetings from Crandall University to our honored dignitaries and dear friends. My name is Chris Robb, and I serve as the Associate Vice President for Enrollment at Crandall University. It is my honor to send greetings this evening and to welcome KT EduRite, powered by Massey Study Abroad, as our respected agent in Kerala. Crandall University has grown in popularity throughout the world based on the quality of our programs, including our undergraduate degrees and our highly successful Master of Management program. We are seeing a growing number of students enrolling from Kerala. This is in part due to the efforts of our Senior Director, Rahul Massey, along with Krati and their team. Now, with the excellent reputation of KT EduRite and its parent organization, Kerala Travels Interserve, joining our team, we are even more excited about the future possibilities. We look forward to further strengthening our relationship between our two countries and through education and beyond. Therefore, on behalf of the President, Dr. Bruce Fawcett, our faculty and staff at Crandall University in Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada, I am honored to bring forth best wishes to our newest agent, KT EduRite, and we look forward to working with you. Jai Hind, thank you.
Now, Crandall University of Canada will now honor KT EduRite with their scroll of recognition, calling upon Mr. Rahul Massey, Senior Director, Crandall University, Krati Chobe, Manager of Agent Relations, along with Mr. Sozo Telimashu to do the honors. Thank you. I now request Mr. Sozo Telimashu to kindly address the audience.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here in Kerala this evening. I'm here with my wife Despina, and we have come from the small island of Cyprus in the Mediterranean. We are here as the Massey European team to support and encourage in every possible way as KT EduRight, powered by Massey Studies Abroad, expands their business venture for education in studying abroad. We hope it will be an open door for many students to find their way in life and for the future. I have been a government employee for the Agricultural Research Institute in Cyprus and have worked alongside one of our senior directors for the last 28 years. We have worked extensively together on greenhouse technology, hydroponic systems, geothermal energy, and solar dryers, which have been built for drying herbs, fruits, and vegetables. All of this has contributed tremendously to the Cypriot farmer and has helped to transform agriculture into an effective and profitable business. I have been asked to share some thoughts and experiences in the field of agricultural development. I know that the subject of agriculture is a sensitive subject to speak on, but my personal belief is that the agricultural sector should be at the top of every government agenda and must be ready to solve problems that farmers are facing today. It is true that a stable agricultural industry ensures a nation's food security. This way, we are not completely dependent on imports from neighboring countries. We can see that the outcome of how a country can be in trouble as a result to the COVID-19 crisis for the last 2 years, especially in countries like UK and Cyprus. We personally experienced the shortage of fruits and vegetables on empty shelves in supermarkets in our own country. This is where good economics, management, and technology comes into practice. Even though we cannot deny the fact that agriculture is being abandoned by the younger generation due to other inspirations they have today, the opportunities and potential that farming can offer students studying in this field can be vast. For example, greenhouse production, olive groves, vineyards, and sun-dried produce can be very profitable if combined with technology. Many countries have proven to be in the front line and overcoming the challenges they face in exports. I do know that there are many professional farmers who have adopted new types of technology and have already been used in many parts of India. This has proven to be profitable for farmers, and they have been able to produce excellent quality produce for the local market and for export purposes. Educating farmers not to be afraid of new technology would definitely be a way to teach them that there is always an easier way for planting, irrigating, and fertilizing their crops. The whole purpose of research is to transfer new information to farmers so that it can be implemented in a practical way to those doing the hard work so they can reap the benefits of their labor. Agricultural engineering must be one of the priorities of any successful farming business working in the field of agriculture, especially if we are to overcome excessive spraying of pesticides, insecticides, and the overuse of irrigation, which is another major concern concerning water. One state is already in trouble with groundwater deposits in the Punjab of North India. It has been estimated that its groundwater reserves will run very low in the next 20 years if they don't take urgent measures. Even with so much technology available to us today, we must not forget the value of agricultural land, and it must not easily be sold to foreign investors, as it is one of our main natural resources and has been for thousands of years. We are to use the land wisely and consider it to be just as important as our drinking water and our reservoirs. We already know that some billionaires have seen the high value of agricultural farmland and have taken the opportunity to buy large amounts of farmland, especially where there is good water resources. One investment group in particular has been known to have purchased 269,000 acres across 18 states of the United States of America. The acreage is known to be larger than the city of New York. Cyprus is about 13 times smaller than New York City. That means that my country can be purchased by one man. I personally believe that technology and information in agricultural research must be shared and should be passed on for educational purposes so that it will encourage students willing to work in the field of agriculture and to know the great value of land and water resources. In 2018, Cyprus and India signed an MOU, which I was assigned together with a colleague to undertake the agreement to work together in some of the fields mentioned here today. The collaboration would be between the Agricultural Research Institute of Cyprus and the Punjab University of North India. The research would be based on agricultural engineering, soil science, on plant breeding and genetics for rural development programs. This would begin with the exchange of information to begin with, which eventually would end on project partnership between the two countries. Unfortunately, since the COVID-19, it seems to have been blocked the progressiveness of this possible collaboration. I hope that this will be rekindled by the two governments in the very near future. There is so much that can be said about this subject, but we can only touch the tip of the iceberg this evening. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, sir. Now to propose the vote of thanks, I call upon Mr. Robbins J. Alapat, who is a co-founder of Resorcio and the Chief Operating Officer. Robbins, all yours.
Respected dignitaries, our distinguished guests, good evening. On this real fascinating day and the journey of grace, there are some very important names we would like to remember with gratitude. And I would like to start with our dignitaries of the day who made this event really, really momentous. On behalf of our entire team, I would like to thank Dr. Shashi Tharoor, our MP, our country's pride, for sharing this most precious time with us. And what best we can expect on a very important day like this, or what more we can expect on a very important day like this. Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful words and for all the support you have extended to us. Thank you. Our heartfelt thanks to Chris Gopalakrishnan, sir, though he was not able to come here physically, but he was very kind enough to send this wonderful message that really boosted our morale, that gave us a lot of confidence. And sir, you have always been more than a mentor to us in each and every aspect of the growth of this product, and the best mentor anyone can get or anyone can ever expect. Thank you so much, sir. Vijay Raghavan, sir, an evergreen and inspiring name for anyone who is associated with IT and also in the field of philanthropy. So your presence catalyzed our spirits and enthusiasm, and your words were really quite inspirational. Thank you so much. Our profound thanks to Raghvendra Nair, sir, President Trivandrum Chamber of Commerce. As you insisted, we'll make sure that Resorcio is going to be useful not only to the youth, but to all people who are really interested in enhancing their knowledge. And that is our word, sir, and thank you so much. Now I have, on behalf of our team Resorcio, we have a few more names to be remembered with gratitude at this moment. And I am going back to the beginning of this project, Resorcio. This all started amidst the heights of COVID pandemic, as Ms. Geetika correctly said. It started at a meeting at Hotel Marari, Alapura, where the idea of Resorcio was presented before Mr. K.C. Chandrahasan, who in his own style battered us left and right to make sure that this idea, as well as the key people behind this idea, have the real stuff to withstand the pressure. And we proved that we have, and that's how Resorcio started. Thank you so much, sir, for that particular day. Our deepest indebtedness go to N. Krishnan, sir. The idea, it was transformed into a product only because of your kind and generous and patient guidance throughout. It helped us to grow from an idea to a workable model. Thank you so much, sir, for your kindness and your patience and guidance. I would like to thank Vijay Kumar, sir, Anup, sir, and Jaya Madam from Kerala Travels for all the support, encouragement, and also for the financial and infrastructural support, which kept Resorcio live throughout. As Ms. Geetika correctly said, you were true angels for us throughout. Equally beholden to the team iTrans Learning Solutions for being a partner of Seamless, the parent company of Resorcio. And we are also really blessed enough to have the patronage of Her Highness Princess Gauri Pavati Bai, who graciously accepted our request to take the chair position of Seamless. Thank you, Princess, from the bottom of our heart for being our grace throughout this period. There are two other people who played a very vital role in converting this idea to a product. Thankfully, remembering the support of our tech pillars, Mr. Soni and Mr. Shabarish, who gave shape and structure to our baby Resorcio. We would like to thank Dr. Manu Melvin Joy and his team for supporting us on the gamification front. Learning, creating, and sharing is now more fun than ever now in Resorcio. It is only because of Dr. Manu. One of the factors that makes Resorcio unique is the abundance of its content. And the credit goes to our 180 plus content creators who contributed multiple types of resources, almost on all subjects, under the able guidance of two strong pillars, Ms. Anuradha and Ms. Vidya, who've been heading our regional content development teams. We are really grateful for their support, their leadership, and for all the kind of hard work they have extended. And now, our core team, the 12 pillars who've been always with us, the team Resorcio, who never watched the clock, but only the compass. You made this day possible. I don't have any intention to thank you because Resorcio is nothing but you. Each one of you. No words team, you are amazing. Can I see the Resorcio team out here? Can you please stand up? This is the team Resorcio, the 12 strong pillars behind this entire work. Thank you. And another two people who helped us to adhere to the corporate governance principles and also to keep our figures right, Mr. Bijoy Pulipra, our company secretary, and Mr. Vinod, our chartered accountant. Thank you so much, Mr. Bijoy and Mr. Vinod. As our chief guest, Dr. Tarun mentioned in his speech, education comprises only a small part of knowledge, and KT EduRite completes this picture. We would like to thank Mr. Rahul Massey and Ms. Krati Chaubi of Massey Study Abroad for their active roles in making KT EduRite a reality. I would also like to thank Mr. Soso Telimoshu, a very passionate agricultural technologist who loves India unconditionally and well recognized in Europe. We are proud to have him heading operations of Massey Study Abroad in Europe. Thank you so much for your presence and also the insightful talk. And to all our esteemed guests who've been kind enough to spend your very precious time on a very busy Monday. Your presence made our day really special. Your support and encouragement reminds us that we have more to do and there is a long way ahead. Thank you all for being with us. Thank you so much. Wish you all a very nice evening. Thank you.
So that concludes the formal proceedings for today. Dinner would be served to my right. And have a pleasant evening. And I look forward to interacting with all of you regarding Resorcio. And kindly do visit the website and let us know any feedback that you would have. We are constantly striving to make it better for the users, make it more meaningful, an online experience. And thank you very much once again for being here and being a part of our special day. Thank you very much.
Hi guys, all the very, very best to Geetika Chechi on our new venture. All the very best for the launch today and have a great one.